Wisdomteethinger, lend me your ear. Dr. D Nice and Fount is here for the day. Want wisdom?
We've got you.
Wellness?
We got you.
Ears?
You got two.
Bones? It's got 3. Chambers? 4. In your heart for doing right? 5. Keys, your game's all tight. Fount. Get your mind right and your body tight. Get your mind right and your body tight. Get your mind right and your body tight.
Hello, Magic 8 Ball Spot. Hello, viewers. Welcome to episode number 74 of Talking Truth to Teen Issues, Tissues, Achoo. It's going to be a shorter show today, and we're just going to do a subject. You see it, dealing with your parents after divorce. And then I'm going to do our frontal lobe training, where I'll talk about my reversing ability, a lack thereof. And then we're just going to wrap up. Magic 8 Ball Spot. Let me tell you all what happened. So today I've had so many things occur on my way home and throughout the day that I really am going to have to. I started later than usual, of course, and I am going to have to kind of hop off a little early to take care of some other things because, Dr. D Nice is an old doctor, and it's the end of the month, and I have to take care of some things before midnight or first thing in the morning, and I got you all, though. No excuses. I got you. Magic 8 Ball Spot wants to know, how did the Bible brain battle go? It did not go well. Our team got knocked out on the first round. I feel so horrible. Feel like such a horrible coach. I did learn some lessons from it, though, because that's just how I am. There's no way I'm going to let anything dramatic happen without learning some real lessons. And just as a coach, what I could have done better. And of course, what my team could have done better. And yeah, they could have studied harder. And I myself could have adjusted my game plan, my study schedule based on the type of the kids that were on the team. It is what it is. We did not do well, but you know what? There's always next year, and I'll pray harder next time. Thank you. Well, you know what? Thank you for praying. I'm going to tell you all this story. This is not what this is about, but anytime I pray for something to happen and it doesn't, it reminds me of a time in the Bible where David, his first son with Bathsheba. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm just pulling it off the top of my head. I hadn't reviewed this story, but you remember he stole that man's wife, and he sent that man into heat of the battle, got him killed, and took his wife because he was just lusting after her. Got her, the first baby that they had got really sick, and he was praying to the Lord. He was fasting. He was mourning, going through all that. Please, God, save the baby, please. And he wasn't eating. He wasn't taking care of himself. And the baby got super sick and then ended up dying. And all of a sudden, once the baby died and the servants were like, oh, should we tell him? What should we tell him? I don't know. And finally, somebody told him. And as soon as they told him, he got dressed, got himself together, and went and ate and took care of himself. And somebody asked him about it. And what he said was, well, God answered. That was the answer that God chose. And I'm just going to have to deal with it. Same thing in this situation. I prayed about it, and that was the answer. God decided what he decided, and we'll just have to move on and live with it and learn from it too. And the lessons I learned is just to really be more observant as a coach, understanding the people that I'm working with, and really just as my team members, I hope they learned to just study harder. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for your prayers, though, Magic 8 Ball Spot. I really appreciate it so much. Thank you. It is always good to know that people are out there praying for you, however frivolous your requests are. Because, the truth is we out there living, and, some things you may think are frivolous, but they're not. It's just is what it is. Okay, I'm rambling. Today, I did want to go over a really interesting subject about dealing with your parents with divorce. And why don't we just go ahead and go into it, and we'll talk about it. I have 12 points I want to go through, and I won't even pull up the numbers on the screen. We're just talking. Is that fine with you all? We're just going to talk today, and it's going to be a little different show. I'm not going to have the fount section. I'm not going to have the teen archetype section. I'm not going to have the Fox section. We're just going to do that. I actually just decided I'll throw in, of course, a frontal lobe section. We'll just do that because got to at least add something to the show. Okay. Here we go. Of course, I have to pull something up here, and we're gonna, you know what? I'm gonna react to this video, and at the end, we'll talk a little bit about my opinion on this. It's just really moved my heart to really talk about this. And okay, so let me introduce it. Should you hate your parents, not speak to your parents, or one parent, the mother, the father? Should you have a horrible relationship with them because they divorced your mom, divorced your dad, because they did something to interrupt the marriage and ruin your whole life? What do you do about it as a kid? How do you handle it? Let's talk about this right now, today. But before we do you all see on the screen, this is Gary Owens, opens up about his relationship with his daughter and shares his experience showing up to her graduation. Hang on with me for a few minutes while we watch this video, and then I'm going to go do a reaction to it and comment on it. Here we go. If you don't know Gary Owens, he's a comedian, and I'll give you a little bit more details about his life after we watch the video. Here we go.
And in that podcast a couple weeks ago, I had said, I'm going to end up going to my daughter's graduation. And my daughter wasn't happy that I announced I was coming and to her graduation. And I'm just not sure. It's no secret. Everybody knows where she went. But so she graduated from North Carolina A&T last week, summa cum laude, which is like smarter than I've ever been. Double major. She just graduated in 3.5 years, crushed it. Very proud of her. But like I said, we haven't talked in 3 years. And
keep in mind, they haven't talked in 3 years. We'll talk about, they haven't talked in 3 years. I'm going to explain to you why in just a little bit.
It was made apparent that I got sent texts like, don't approach her, don't talk to her.
You're her dad.
It's fine, you're coming. Like, I didn't need permission, and this week, in that podcast, I'm trying to respect everybody's wishes and not make it awkward. This isn't about me; it's about her. And so I go, and first time I laid eyes on her in about 1.5 years.
Oh man, that is so sad. You haven't seen your child in like 1.5 years. Hadn't talked in 3 years. Man, I wonder what.
So I see her, and I was like, oh, I got excited. Took some pictures. I actually hired a photographer to take pictures and videos of her. She didn't realize it, that I had hired this guy. And so when she got her diploma, I shot her a text. I said, congratulations.
He's a proud dad. He was proud.
And I saw her look at her phone and not respond. So that kind of hurt. And then when the graduation was over, I had taken some pictures and everything. I sent her a couple shots, and I just said, I'm so proud of you. And I got her response to me was, I'm blocking you. And I was like, what, for coming to your graduation? And then she responded, I don't respect her boundaries, things of that nature. And I'm trying to respect. So it was It was unexpected. I think in the back of my brain, I thought when I texted her, I thought I wouldn't get any response. I would be ignored, or I'd get a simple thank you. But to say I'm blocking you, and I don't know if she has or not.
Well, there you have it. If you don't know who Gary Owens is, this guy, he's a comedian. And he is really loved by the Black community. He's invited to the cookout, according to the terminology that's out there, because he's really cool. He has a little bit of urban flair to him. And on top of that, he's been giving some validation, a stamp of approval, because he was married to a Black woman. They were married for 17, 23 years. They were married for a really, really long time, and they got divorced a few years ago. Seems like it was sort of messy. I wasn't following it. I didn't even know they were divorced, honestly. I saw this post. This is from Hollywood Unlocked, one of the Instagram sites, Hollywood Unlocked. I saw it, and then I saw, but I think they even had a reality show or something. I'm not sure. But that is not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about is his daughter's reaction to her dad. Let's stop for a second and look at this. His mom divorced his dad. I think the mom was the one that filed for divorce. I don't know the circumstances. This is beyond the scope of what we're talking about today. And it appears to be that both children chose sides, and the side they chose was their mom. From a previous video when I was looking through things for his son is also not talking to him. They haven't spoken. He's went to his job once and observed him from afar. Gary went to his son's job once and observed them from afar and didn't really speak to him because he didn't know if he was received. Listen, kids, if your parents divorce, here are 12 things. There may be a little bit more, little points, key things that I really want you all to understand. There may be some overlap in it. It's important that you do know this, though. The first thing is, do not choose sides. Basically, don't get in grown folks' business. Marriages are complicated. You were not married to your father. You were not married to your mother. You don't know the intricacies of a marriage relationship. When you choose sides, you are going to deny yourself the opportunity to really connect with your other parent. You're set up a block in your mind. And unfortunately, what happens is your favorite parent, the one that you latched onto, whose side you chose, is happy, excited to have you on their side. When people are going through a tough time, they want as many allies as possible. And you, whether you're a child or not, you validate that, okay, yeah, I made the right choice because my child loves me more. My child is paying attention to me more. My child hates her dad or hates her mom and loves me more. That feels good when you're going through a tough thing like divorce. Divorce is not easy. It's like you're severing a part of you. I'm not divorced. I've been married for 19 years. I talk to a lot of people, though, and I see a lot of things. It is not an easy thing. The Bible talks about when you're married, two becomes one. And separating yourself from a person that you've become one with, you've been connecting your bodies and your minds and your spirits and produce offspring on top of that. Because we're talking about how kids deal with a divorce. When all that is happening, you're splitting. It's difficult. And you don't add to it, kids, by picking a side. don't do it. It'll make your life harder. And, yes, there are situations where the divorce is like divorce needed to have divorced. Even the Bible recognizes human issues, human just being humans, and allow for divorce for certain reasons. And, it happens. I'm not saying that divorce should not happen. I'm saying how you as a child should handle it. What you should do 100% is try to mend any broken relationship with your parent. Let's just say in this case, it's Gary Owens. Listen, his daughter is already exhibiting fatherless behavior. Let's just be honest. She is out there talking about respect my boundaries. What? This is the person that gave you life. It wasn't that just your mother's DNA in there. This is your dad. He gave you life. You must honor your mother and your father, that your days will be long on the land with the Lord thy God give you. Obey your parents. All these are commandments. And if this dad, Gary Owens here, or any other dad or any other mom wants to be a part of your life, it's not like we're not talking about consequences, situations where there was extreme violence and extreme abuse. No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about irreconcilable difference, divorce. Okay, those irreconcilable differences, divorces, which are typically filed by women, to be honest, and perhaps they're grounded in things I don't know. Listen to me. Your parent is still your parent. This person that has your dad or your mom, the side that you didn't pick, they are still contributors to your DNA makeup. And your life will be hard and damaged without them being a part of it. Trust and believe. Even if the parent that you've not sided with, even if they were a horrible parent, they deserve not to be spoken to. They have violated your mom or your loved parent. That's what we're going for. The loved parent and the unloved parent. They have violated your loved parent in ways that it's unmentionable, that you witness. They may even have violated you in ways that are unmentionable, and you've had an experience. This is still a loss. Do not minimize the effect of living a life that is fatherless. If you have or motherless, if you have the option to have your mom or to have your father be a part of your life, get it together, forgive them, and move on. They did not divorce you. They divorced your loved parent. It's not your fault either. A lot of times with kids, even teenagers and even like college age little tiny kids for sure, for whatever, at that stage of development when you're young like that, you tend to really look at things. It's my fault why they're divorced. If I had cleaned my room, if I had not asked for this, they wouldn't have argued. It's not your fault. These are grown people that have well experienced in life. They understand how life works. They have chosen to be in a relationship together, and if they've chosen to separate it, it has little to do with you, minimal. Yes, some people say, stress of children on a marriage. If they're not mature enough to understand how to be parents and how to be a couple and how to look for resources when they're going through a hard time in their marriage because they now have a child involved, if they're not able to move through that, it's their problem. They're the full-grown adults in this situation. It is not your fault. And sometimes when you internalize this as your fault, that's where some of the issues, you begin to choose sides because it just feels better for you. Don't do it. And don't let either parent, I have my little notes here. I'm going to read for y'all right here. Don't let either parent force you to choose sides. Don't let them keep you away from your unloved parent. If you're grown and you have the opportunity to reach out to your parent, you need to make sure you do that, because you don't want to be growing up fatherless or motherless. That's a whole bag of worms that you do not want to get into. It's going to have you making bad choices left and right. It's going to have you choosing the wrong women to be in relationships with, choosing the wrong men to be in relationships, choosing the wrong way to manage your emotions. You're just missing this whole person that helped created you and give you life. Do not allow your loved parent, the parent that you're with, to keep you away from your other parent. That's a tough situation for you. It's not going to make your life easy. And I'm letting you know right now, don't do it. Find some way that doesn't disrespect the parent that you love, to find some way to connect with the other unloved parent. Let's look at this other one that I have here. Of course, keeping in mind that there's some legal things also, but typically sometimes, not oftentimes, if the child has some free will decision making in the thing. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just letting you know how it goes, how it's going to go down, how it go down. You got to connect with your parent. And it's easy to love people that love us, but we are asked to love those who hurt us. Yes. I mean, you may be thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe he just left us just like that. Whatever story your mom told you, your loved parent told you, whatever story they told you about the divorce, all of those things, you begin to make up a story and decide that you're going to hate this parent. No, plain and simple. And this is like, if you feel that you want to do things the right way. I understand many of you watching are not Christians. I'm telling you the thing that it's going to have your life be happier, of more of a Christian perspective. God created you. He knows exactly how we should handle conflicts, and he's laid it all out for you. Whether you like it or not, these are the best ways. Some of the things don't make sense, but I'm telling you. And what it says is, you must love those that hate you. You must forgive. And even though this is not easy, nothing worth really having is easy. And trust me, your life will be better for it. There's a whole commandments that talk about respecting and honoring your parents. You cannot ignore it just simply being spiteful. And I really wish Gary Owen's daughter will see this video and know that she's a grown she's now. I think her parents divorced when they were like 17, 18. They were not young children. And she's grown enough to reach out to connect with her dad. And there's a few I've mentioned before. Stay out of grown folks' business. You don't know nothing about them people's marriage. I'm telling you. There's a lesson you need to learn. It when people are separating and divorce, you do not, the complexities of relationships. It may be 100% obvious to you that your loved parent is right. It's because of your unloved parent why your marriage is dissolved. Believe me when I tell you, your loved parent is not as innocent as he or she seems to be. Back up, stay out of grown folks' business, and go and love that unloved parent. You can still love both of your parents. And if your loved parent, the one that you feel is right in this whole divorce, if that parent makes you feel guilty for wanting to connect with your other parent, this is immaturity, and you need to understand that it's not acceptable, and you're going to have to find some respectful way to talk to your parent about it and let you know, I want to see my daddy. I want to connect with them. I want to know them. You deserve that. There's a few more things. And here's the thing. Even in the worst case scenario where the parent really did something horrible to cause this divorce, it's still going to be a loss for you. And I'm asking you to really understand the damage it will do when you don't resolve some of these parental issues that you're going to have from not being able to connect with one or even sometimes both of your parents. If your parent wants to reach out to you, wants to have a relationship with you, you're in a fortunate situation. So many times, one of them parents just skedaddle, leave because they're so mad and upset and immature about the whole thing. If I can't have you, I don't want the kids, and they're just throwing the kids in the mix of it like like some sort of bargaining chip. Immaturity on their part, of course, and they're playing tug of war with your little baby heart, and it hurts. Even if all of that happens, and once the dust settles, that unloved parent wants to come back to you and establish a relationship with you, try your best to make it happen. There may be some barriers and boundaries that are put up depending on some of the things that have happened. Make sure you try your best. You do everything to have some sort of relationship with your parent. And in the end, if that can't happen, there is too much that can happen when you're double fatherless. Your father is not a part of your life, and you're not a child of God where God is your father. Being the double fatherless is a horrible situation to be in. And motherless can be equally as bad. Listen, guys, I pray that you give grace and mercy and love to both of your parents in a divorce situation. These are not easy things that can happen because I know that you're hurt. I know that you're disappointed. I know your family may not look the way you want it to look. And that's tough. That's not an easy thing to deal with. It changes you as a person, almost makes it feel like your whole life has been a lie. Has your family really been real? All these questions are going to come up. Don't make it any worse by adding a strained relationship to your parents. I hope Gary Owen's daughter is listening. Girl, call your daddy. Your daddy wants to talk to you. Call him. Don't unblock him. And I hope his son reaches out to him too. Do it. All right. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the subject. I'm sure we can talk about it more and more. There's so much to it. I've just barely scratched the surface of the complexities of it. This is just beginning the discussion. If you have any other issues or understanding of the situation, let me know in the comment section below. Let's see. I divorced, but we remained civil with the help of our daughter. Now we are still friends, and our daughter is on the president's list at Long Beach State University with a psychology major. You all did it the right way, not throwing your daughter in the middle. Sounds like you still have a relationship with your daughter, and she still wants to have a relationship with you. Magic 8-ball spot. I'm happy for that. Yes. All right. I know I saw this video and I have to talk about it today. I had a whole other subject that I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about new ageism how people are worshiping weird things and astrology, what's your sign, what's your shoe size, what's your sign, all those things. I was going to talk about that today, but this came up. I saw this video pop up on my Instagram feed, and I just knew I had to just stop for a minute and talk about the importance of not abandoning your parents after a divorce, or any of your parents after a divorce. All right, last story. What is it? Frontal lobe training. Listen, I'm gonna let y'all know. Okay, let me just start it. Okay, let me let y'all know. Reverse is not my best gear. Okay, let me just tell y'all what happened. I have had at least two incidents. It could be 3 incidents where I just messed up reversing. One time, I was coming out of my garage. And those garages, yeah, they say 2-car garage, but let's be honest, it's 1.5 cars. Okay, you have to have the skill of a precision driver to fit 2 cars in the garage. We had 2 cars in the garage, and I was backing out of the garage. I know the front. This is before we had this is back in the day, by the way, where the front fender, it wasn't like molded into the car like it is now. There was a little lip. It was like there's a little separation between the car and the front end, the front fender of the car. And I was backing up, backing up, using my rear view mirror because there was no backup camera in those cars back in my day. And backing up, the side of the fender got caught on piece of the garage, like jutting out. Something was jutting out of the garage and it got caught on it. Wasn't paying attention. I'm just trying to back up. That's all I'm trying to do. And kept on going and left my fender behind. It hooked and it pulled, wrenched the front part of my fender off. It didn't come off all the way. It came off halfway. So that was number 1, reversing. It's not my gear. Next time, I was going with my friend. Actually, her boyfriend was going to propose to her, and he told me about it. And he wanted me to come with him because he was going to go pick up the ring. And he wanted me to help kind of set up the situation a little bit. And I actually drove my friend's car to go with him. And I guess with all the excitement, everything, I pulled into the parking lot. We went into the store. We made some arrangements for the ring and all this stuff, came back out, and I was just so excited. The ring, the proposal. And I was backing out my parking lot. Did not realize that behind me, there was a light pole in the middle of the parking lot. I put it like cracked in half. This is the parking. The pole went straight into the center here. Just kind of put a dent right in the center of the back bumper. Those are my 2 most obvious reversing issues. I've had little tiny ones here. There are near misses. Those are the 2 for sure where I just missed. Not near miss. I hit. It happened. Here's what I'm trying to tell y'all from this. Listen, it's important that you understand the things that you are not good at, okay? And you learn to improve your skills. And everywhere I go, I will ask somebody for help. Like, what do I need to do to reversing? Of course, now we've got backup cameras that'd help. I had this friend who is a pro. He's not a professional driver, but he helped me understand to look through the rear view mirror on the side, not the rear, the side view mirror, how to gauge your distance with the curb, and how to just measure where the car is, and to really be aware of the things that are around you so that you don't end up reversing and hurting your car or even hurting another person, because that's the third backing up story. It did not involve me. It involved somebody reversing and almost hitting one of my sons. Scared me half to death. I still think about this to this day. Reverse is a gear that you need to be fully aware, pay attention to what you're doing, walk around your car, make sure the scene is clear, make sure there's no obstacles around so that you can ride safely and other people can ride safely, drive safely on the road when you are there. All right, there you have it. Wisdom and stupidness. Choose wisdom. And remember, show me your brightest, show me your best, show me the latest guru, God's wisdom. Let's theirs look like stupidness. And the stupidness is just not learning how to reverse properly. All right, let me hear. I blame my lack of neck flexibility and bad back for my backup accidents, all three of them. Sounds like you have had three too. I've been in more accidents than I have had Oh man. I'm not judging you. Next week, you know what? I don't even think I'm going to go on with my plan to do I was going to talk about the astrology and new age and the harm in that towards you and your spirituality and your life, like everyone watching. I think I may end up talking about judging other people. That's probably what I talk about next week. I don't know yet. I'll keep y'all posted. Anyway, Magic 8-Ball Spot. Like I said, I wasn't going to be able to hang out super, super long today. I already kept the show short because I really have to head. I probably have another 2 hours worth of work now when I'm done. Is that doctor life? It's not. It's very fulfilling, and it ends when the job is done, not when you clock out. And I have to just go and get these things done. I appreciate you being here, though, Magic 8-Ball Spot. I will be back next week. I don't anticipate anything popping up. And since we're not moving on in our competition, I should be able to start back doing the good, the bad, and the ugly, because my spare time is no longer spent coaching a Pathfinder Bible Experience team, PBE team. All right. Anything going on, Magic 8-Ball Spot? Please continue to keep me in your prayers. I will, of course, keep you in my prayers. And I will see you next week where we're talking about judging other people. Should we be judging others, or should we not be judging others? You'll be surprised at the answer. All right, I'm out. Bye, everyone.
Wisdomteethinger, lend me your ear. Dr. D Nice and Fount is here for the day. Want wisdom?
We've got you.
Wellness?
We got you.
Ears?
You got two.
Bones? It's got 3. Chambers? 4. In your heart for doing right? 5. Keys, your game's all tight. Fount. Get your mind right and your body tight. Get your mind right